I'm his mother.
And who is that?
Christopher Thomas.
Ms. Phillips, did you see who entered into the occupants who entered into that gray Jeep?
Yes.
Do you recognize where your son entered that gray Jeep?
Yes.
Which seat, if you can identify for the jury?
He got in the back seat on the right-hand side.
Did you recognize the individual that got into the back seat on the left side, the rear driver's side?
Yes.
And who was that individual?
Janelle.
A major development has just surfaced in the YNW Melly case. The judge has officially scheduled a second bond hearing for the rapper, setting it for Tuesday, May 6, 2025. This long-awaited court session could potentially shift the direction of the entire case. According to the Broward County Clerk, Melly's legal representative, Raven Liberty, will be leading the argument in favor of granting bond.
That he spent a lot of money on lawyers. Like an amount that would probably...
That kid spent a lot of money on a lot of things that shouldn't have been spent on.
Really? Like what else?
And cars, jewelry. And he's not even out to wear the jewelry. I'm like, why are you buying jewelry? You're not here to wear the jewelry.
No, definitely lawyers are probably the best thing you can spend
That's
money
what
on.
bro. But
Yeah.
he's good with lawyers, bro. Like, money ain't an issue for lawyers. Like, he's fine, but it's just like, it was a lot of stuff that should have went to lawyers that he didn't spend on lawyers. And I'm like, bro. And now it's like, he don't even want to change.
Inside the courtroom, anticipation is rising. But what happened next reportedly stunned even the most seasoned legal observers. A legal professional present during the proceeding noted that Judge Martin Fine appeared increasingly frustrated with the prosecution. According to courtroom accounts, the judge seemed visibly displeased, signaling that he may be seriously considering dismissing the charges altogether.
And you can try them together. It is to the benefit of the state to try them together. Just more efficient. You don't have to do things again and again. Do it all at once. And also, you get a better chance of having them incriminate each other during the trial. It benefits the defense to sever it. That way they can point the finger at each other and get away with it. So this is what's going on. But I don't think it should be automatically severed because the state is seeking penalty for Melly, because it's only the penalty phase of the trial that would be different, not the guilt phase. The guilt phase, it's the same. They're both capital crimes. You're seeking the penalty on one, not the other, but that goes into the second part of the trial, the penalty phase, only if Melly is found.
Reports suggest the prosecution's failure to follow court orders and lack of preparation for hearings is contributing to growing judicial dissatisfaction. These lapses have been consistent throughout the trial's history. Melly's defense capitalized on the moment. In a bold and direct statement to the judge, they pointed out a crucial oversight during the original trial: the absence of a firearm. No weapon was ever recovered at the scene, which they argue supports YNW Melly's claim that the incident may have been the result of a drive-by shooting.
An informed decision about who he wants as lawyers. He's now been sitting in our jail for 2,159 days. So, how long would you like to be able to make that decision?
I can't determine when the investigation will be over. That's up to the Broward Sheriff's Office, but I can, as I said, I'm just asking for a week, and then I'm asking for at least a day or two. At
You
minimum.
decide by tomorrow.
Without this key piece of forensic evidence, the defense contends that the case lacks the necessary structure to proceed as charged. This courtroom revelation may not just affect the bond hearing, it could reshape the entire legal strategy for both sides. As the hearing date approaches, attention is turning to how the judge will respond to the defense's argument and whether this will finally lead to a pivotal change in YNW Melly's incarceration status. This case, long marked by delays and legal complexities, may be on the verge of a major turning point.
The first thing is I didn't have a firearm, so I can't know which firearm I'm going to use in order to replicate any of my tests. So I can't make tests for this determination because I don't know what firearm was used.
Okay.
The defense team for YNW Melly didn't stop at the absence of the murder weapon. They also introduced new digital evidence that could drastically shift how the case is viewed. Using GPS tracking data pulled from Melly's cell phone, attorneys revealed that Melly was reportedly running down a nearby street and hiding in a bush at the same time the crime occurred. This piece of evidence, captured via location data, presents a timeline that could contradict the prosecution's narrative of events. Judge Martin Fine, who is overseeing the proceedings, is known for granting pretrial release when appropriate. A recent example includes Melly's former girlfriend, Mariah, who was released from jail under his supervision.
Mariah Hamilton is spending her first day at the Broward County Jail. She has no arrest record until now. U.S. Border Patrol agents arrested her at Miami International Airport Monday after she arrived on an international flight. Court records show Hamilton was ordered to testify in Demon's first trial in 2020.
She later posted a heartfelt message on Facebook on February 9th, thanking her family and friends, saying, "To my village, thank you. I love you all so much. God's plan, not mine." Although she reportedly disliked the way the media covered her release, she expressed gratitude for being out.
And his response was, "I did that," and placed a smiley face emoji.
And the next message from 10/26/2018 at 16:02 from Eastern Standard Time. The YNW Melly count says what?
After that, SHH.
In a dramatic courtroom exchange, Judge Fine addressed prosecutors directly. He told them in no uncertain terms that unless they could present a valid reason to keep Melly incarcerated, he would be ordering his release on bond. This bold stance shocked many in attendance, including Melly, who has been in jail for a staggering 2,159 days. What happened next escalated the situation even further.
That he spent a lot of money on lawyers. Like an amount that would probably...
That kid spent a lot of money on a lot of things that shouldn't have been spent on.
Really? Like what else?
And cars, jewelry. And he's not even out to wear the jewelry. I'm like, why are you buying jewelry? You're not here to wear the jewelry.
No, definitely lawyers are probably the best thing you can spend
That's
money
what
on.
bro. But he's good with lawyers, bro. Like, money ain't an issue for lawyers. Like, he's fine, but it's just like, it was a lot of stuff that should have went to lawyers that he didn't spend on lawyers. And I'm like, bro. And now it's like, he don't even want to change.
Prosecutors, under pressure, dropped a bombshell that could change the tone of the entire trial. They revealed that a member of the notorious O Block, previously believed to be uninvolved, had allegedly provided them with information linking YNW Melly to a motive. According to the claim, Melly had resisted sharing his financial earnings with other members of the YNW collective. The snitch, labeled in court records as Interview 401439, allegedly exposed this internal conflict. Adding another twist, this motive had reportedly been disclosed by Melly only to King Von years ago. Von, who tragically passed away, was said to have later mentioned the information to O Block members, an act that now appears to have made its way into official testimony. This unexpected leak has now become a critical component of the prosecution's new strategy as the case barrels toward a potentially game-changing bond hearing. As the investigation into the YNW case deepens, the structure behind the collective has taken center stage. YNW wasn't simply a group of friends making music. It operated as a business under the YNW LLC banner. This included income streams from concerts, merchandise, and promotional deals, all managed under a central account. Originally, all earnings were split equally 4 ways. However, as time went on, Melly reportedly grew frustrated. He believed that Sackhazer and Juvie weren't contributing enough to justify receiving a full share of the profits. This internal dispute is where prosecutors believe the motive began to form. In court filings, prosecutors referenced Melly's private frustrations, noting that if Melly had confided in King Von, who was known for his hardline responses to betrayal, the advice would have likely escalated the situation rather than resolved it. Then came the most incriminating discovery. Just hours after the double homicide, Melly allegedly sent a text message that prosecutors describe as a clear admission. While the exact contents remain under seal, officials characterized it as damning. The prosecution claims it significantly undermines the defense's theory that the shooting was a drive-by. Additional data retrieved from Melly's phone uncovered a deeply unsettling video. In footage taken from a Facebook Live session, Melly and Cortland Henry, aka Bortland, were seen filming a music video in a parking lot just 6 hours after the incident occurred. Despite the loss of two close friends, neither of them appeared affected. The prosecutor described the scene as eerily devoid of remorse. That wasn't the only bombshell. As physical evidence from the vehicle was reintroduced, the prosecution emphasized that the bullet trajectories and blood spatter patterns inside the Jeep pointed to an internal shooting, not an external attack. This finding directly conflicts with Melly's original claims of a drive-by ambush. Then came the moment that shifted the courtroom's energy entirely. YNW Juvie's mother took the stand and gave testimony that stunned observers. She identified the back left seat occupant on the night of the murders, placing a specific individual in the exact location believed to be critical in the fatal shootings. Her statement, delivered under oath, has now emerged as a possible turning point in the case, one that could dramatically alter the path forward for both the defense and the prosecution. Following the emotional testimony from YNW Juvie's mother, attention in the courtroom shifted to forensic science, a realm that leaves little room for speculation. The prosecution introduced a panel of ballistic experts who presented detailed findings from the Jeep where the crime took place. Their analysis reinforced a conclusion that has haunted this case from the beginning. The shots that killed YNW Juvie and YNW Sackchaser were fired from inside the vehicle. Trajectory paths were mapped with laser-guided technology, showing angles that aligned with an interior shooter seated in the back left seat, just as previous testimony had indicated. This revelation clashed directly with the initial claim that the group had been targeted in a drive-by shooting. Furthermore, gunpowder residue tests confirmed the presence of firearm discharge inside the cabin, rather than residue patterns expected from outside gunfire. Photos of the recovered bullet casings entered into evidence matched the ballistic fingerprint of a specific firearm, later traced back to one of the known associates of YNW Melly. While the defense maintains there is no direct proof Melly fired the weapon, the circumstantial evidence continues to build around proximity, access, and opportunity. Meanwhile, surveillance footage pulled from nearby traffic cams revealed that after the shooting, the vehicle circled the area for an extended period before heading to the hospital. The footage, paired with GPS data from Melly's phone, suggested a delay in seeking medical attention, further complicating the defense's timeline. Prosecutors argued that these moments of hesitation pointed to a potential attempt at staging or regrouping, not a panicked response to a surprise attack. The defense countered with alternative interpretations, arguing that the data could be misread and that Melly had no clear reason to orchestrate such a violent act against two of his closest allies. They promised that forthcoming witness testimony would clarify the rapper's whereabouts and intent on the night in question. Still, with the weight of forensic evidence mounting and new digital proof placing Melly at the center of the scene, the courtroom is bracing for the next critical phase. A full re-examination of motive, method, and Melly's digital footprint, right down to his encrypted messages and deleted phone logs. With each passing day, the possibility of a verdict draws closer, and both legal teams are preparing for what could be a defining moment in the most high-profile hip-hop trial in years. Just when the courtroom atmosphere around YNW Melly's case appeared to reach its peak, prosecutors unveiled a bold new tactic, requesting to try Melly and his co-defendant, Cortland Bortland Henry, together. This move signaled a significant shift in the prosecution's approach and revealed their next major strategy: to place immense pressure on Bortland to testify against Melly. From the prosecution's perspective, this is a standard high-stakes maneuver. If Bortland believes he did not pull the trigger or orchestrate the crime, the expectation is clear. He would likely not sit in silence and face a life sentence without speaking up. By placing both defendants on trial at the same time, prosecutors are banking on one truth: Bortlen will point the finger to save himself. However, the defense anticipated this exact tactic. As far back as the original trial, Melly's legal team laid the groundwork by suggesting Bortlen was the primary party responsible. The opening statements in the original trial made it clear. The defense intended to argue that Bortlen had lied to authorities, misled investigators, and possibly acted alone. Key evidence supporting this theory includes gunshot residue found on Bortlen's hands, a detail forensic experts are expected to revisit and break down again in painstaking detail. Additionally, records show Bortlen was seated near YNW Juvie and YNW Sackchaser at the time of the shooting. But despite this, Bortlen has never taken the stand in his own defense, leaving the door wide open for speculation. Following Melly's mistrial, the tension between the co-defendants seemed to grow. On the same day the mistrial was declared, Bortlen posted a cryptic tweet, "Mind games don't work on people like me," followed by a handshake emoji. The message led many to believe Bortlen was signaling either defiance or an agreement behind the scenes. Meanwhile, outside the courtroom, attention shifted toward Melly's family. His mother made headlines after launching a fan account in support of her son during his ongoing trial. In a surprising interview, she explained her reasoning and revealed how the account generated significant income, an unexpected side story that exploded across social media and captured the attention of outlets like DJ Academics. Still, despite the public distractions and speculation, the legal pressure continues to build. With the joint trial looming and Bortlen's potential testimony hanging in the balance, the next chapter could determine the final outcome in one of hip-hop's most closely watched criminal cases. As YNW Melly's legal saga nears its critical turning point, the courtroom is now the stage for what may become one of the most pivotal verdicts in recent music history. With years behind bars, mounting public attention, and new revelations surfacing with each hearing, the fate of the Florida rapper hangs by a thread. The decision to try Melly alongside Cortland Bortlen Henry marks a dramatic shift in strategy that could accelerate the road to conviction or expose a deeper layer of doubt. Prosecutors remain confident that putting pressure on Bortlen will eventually yield testimony strong enough to dismantle the defense's narrative. But Melly's legal team has proven just as aggressive, continuing to build their case around forensic inconsistencies, alleged coercion, and the lack of a clear motive beyond speculative witness claims. At the same time, the public spectacle outside the courthouse grows louder. Every new motion, social media post, or family interview is dissected by millions across platforms, with supporters and critics alike awaiting every update. It's a collision of law and celebrity, where a trial isn't just about guilt or innocence, but about the legacy of a rising artist caught in the crosshairs of a justice system under scrutiny. Yet even as the legal team pushes for bond and calls into question the credibility of certain witnesses, the looming threat of a conviction, possibly even a life sentence, remains ever present. The introduction of forensic evidence, digital communications, and behavioral analysis continues to reshape how both the court and the public view the events of that tragic night. Now, with a bond hearing set and a possible release on the horizon, the outcome remains uncertain. Whether Melly walks free or stands trial again under more pressure than ever, the next few months will define not only the future of his career, but the impact of justice and media on high-profile cases like this. One thing is certain, the final chapter has not yet been written, but every move from this point forward will shape how history remembers YNW Melly. If you followed the story this far, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to stay up to date on all the latest developments. Turn on notifications so you don't miss what's next in this landmark case.